kind of like kick this off. We are being audio and video recorded. That has started. My name is John Oliver, Councillor from Ward 1. I'm joined by Councillor Krinsman from Ward 4. He's going to wave from behind me. We have Councillor Bixby in the car on her way here, hopefully not speeding and using hands-free and obeying all the traffic laws.
It's like a caller on WEEI.
Yeah.
Councillor Bixby in the car?
Right, in the car. Hey, Martha, we haven't spoken in a long time. And hopefully we'll hear from Councillor Labovitz here in a few minutes as well, ideally in the room. But marching on, we have just a couple of to-dos tonight that I want to get through. I'm going to try and share my screen in a momentito here. And these three things are in order. I want to make sure that we're all comfortable with the themes that we've extracted or synthesized from all of the feedback we've received so far. This looks like how I share the screen. Come on, Nick. Bingo. Move this. And there's a way to expand this so people might be able to see it like that. Very exciting.
Yes.
So what we've done is we've extracted these themes, as we all know, from all of the feedback we've received so far. We've done our best to kind of categorize them. I want to talk about your comments today because I want to make sure I understood them,
Okay.
Councillor. So that's the first thing I want to get locked down, because the idea is that this entire spreadsheet, once we're done with it, will be published in the packet on Friday. So that being said, and that's by the way for everybody listening at home or who might view the recording, we are getting ready to present to the full city council on the 27th. So two of these items, right, two of these themes, one of which we wanted to consider recategorizing, and the other one, maybe it was duplicative of another.
Yeah.
So let's knock those out quickly if we can. So this first one here, there's some discomfort with Newton's strong mayoral form of government. Form of government. Mayor has too much say over the budget funding decisions. Residents should have more input. Was
I think
this?
strong mayor was okay, actually.
I think that's the
strong
public
mayor form of government.
administration term is strong mayor.
Oh, well, I can change it. I can change it back. All right, my bad. All right.
Yeah, so my thinking was that this was, rather than sort of knowledge-based, this was more cooperation and partnership, or, you know, just
Yeah, I'd
under
buy
a different
that.
head.
I would totally
was
buy
it.
that.
I
Yes.
think it was absolutely a theme that you accurately captured from the feedback.
It's in there, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I reworded some of these just grammatically.
Totally. As
So
you can
hope that was
see,
okay.
I'm not so good at my grammar. So that works out great.
I only say that in the interest of transparency, like, you know, that's what I do.
Yeah, no, and I think I have seen a few people in here kind of niff-gnawing
Yeah.
and things like that. So that's all good. Whoops. And then there's another one here, that there's confusion. Who was sending or authoring which messages during the strike? Sources of information were misidentified or not identified at all. I should add that. And we need to fix this moving forward.
And so the top left box, A3, I think it is.
This guy.
It's not exactly the same, but it felt, if not the same, strong overlap.
I think they're close but not identical. How do you feel about how about if we just move it over to column 1? So that we would do that. Because this one's
Yeah,
kind of
I was
who's sending it?
Yeah, I was also gonna say maybe just add a line into A3.
We could
to sort of combine them.
Yep.
And really, it wasn't so much that I had concerns with these, it was just that I wanted you to know that I'd read them. And I felt like this would be a way to demonstrate.
Well, message received, pun intended. So if we add, communications need to be clear as to who is sending the message.
Sure.
Does that capture this?
It does.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can do that.
Yes, right to,
We're now being joined by Councilor Bixby.
If there were kids with you when you left, I feel like they're not.
They're still
Mayor's
running up the
office.
stairs, yeah.
oh, you can't, the candy bowl has been put away, thank goodness,
That's
but
funny.
we might need to open up the.
The breaker's
cabinet,
open,
Yeah.
if they want anything.
And they're more than welcome to join us. If they can even sit at the
You want
table.
to come in here? Sit in a couple chairs and hang
My
out?
apologies.
Oh, don't get up. I rolled in.
We got Harry Potter if you need it too, we're set for it.
All right, so we just, so you know, we just locked up all the themes. They're done.
Okay, excellent,
We're not
sounds
gonna
good.
go backwards.
Good work, everybody. Good.
We don't have Councilor Lovovitz in the waiting room, right? I just wanna make sure that we're
Let
not,
me see, hold
because
on.
I can't see that here anymore.
No, and they.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, so the next topic I wanted to tackle are the recommendations and then considerations. I think we're okay, comfortable talking about them like that in the two groups. So this is the full list, right? This sheet here represents all of the recommendations that we have thought about, wanted to talk about, made sense given the themes. If the themes define the problems, recommendations and then considerations should be able to suffice as the solution in an ideal world anyway. So what we did, actually what Councilor Bixby did for us is we pulled the out of this full set, we pulled out, what do we have, we have five different recommendations, and we should run through these fairly quickly. And they have the specific act, you know, the definition of the thing, the to-dos, and then in many cases, we have partners. Other folks that we're gonna have to drag kicking and screaming with us to get the work done.
Partner with
I-
enthusiastically and
So, let me just say that I think this work is great, I went through it, I didn't disagree with any of it.
Okay,
I have one idea in my head that is not fully fleshed out,
okay,
that I can't get out of my head. I can't complete, and it dovetails with one of these.
okay.
Would you like to hear
I am dying to hear that.
it? So, it's in line with the sort of, number 4 here, independent analysis, like
Okay.
a group that provides an independent analysis, not specific to the city budget, okay? But I wanna have an entity with appointees from various parts of the city, school committee, city council, mayor, and I want the entity to be malleable in that when a situation arises, that entity can be the source of truth. That entity, if, for example, in the event of a school strike, that entity loses its school committee representation and is comprised of mayoral, city council, other people. If
Okay.
it's the mayor, and specifically, you know, the mayor's involved in a situation that is flaring up, the mayor sort of, you know, gets extricated from the group, the rest of the group survives and becomes the source of truth. In my head, this is like city council appointee has to be unanimous. So that
Okay.
there's no, you know, political machinations here or anything like that. The mayor's appointee, something like that. I don't have it fully fleshed out, but I feel like if we had this body that were preordained or pre-established, that when a situation arises, the first step could be, let's ask the body.
Right.
You know, can you take this on, can you become
Right.
the source of truth?
Right. Wake up, get over here, we've
Right.
got a crisis coming down the
Yep.
pike, right,
Yep.
okay. I like the idea, right, exactly,
Snap it
because it does also, if I'm if I may be so bold, first time I'm hearing it, it smacks to me of kind of this, in the crisis, open questions kind of theme that we could get at, that would allow,
Yeah, because we didn't really have one
we didn't.
specifically that,
Yeah,
I mean, they all.
Yeah, not directly, I would agree. I like it.
I think
The
it's.
good news is it's out of your head now.
Yes, it's
Out there.
I have vomited it out.
We have witnesses and we're being
We
recorded.
nailed it.
Ellen, thoughts, or Martha?
I'm just not sure it shouldn't include the person or the party that's, I think they should be able to speak their view. But what is the purpose? The purpose is to agree on communications to the community?
I think the purpose was to serve as sort of an independent source of truth,
I understand.
generally speaking. Which is why I say, if the school committee is involved. For example, not that any member of the school committee isn't capable of delivering independent and impartial information, they should do that in their own communications. But I would think this entity, to preserve the appearance of total impartiality, would want to not have a member of it in the conflict, for lack of a better term. That was my thinking.
My only, I think they deserve a seat at the table to explain why they're presenting it the way they feel they need to.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then the group as a whole can ideally come to a consensus but the ultimate goal is to communicate with the community about the issue, right? Yeah, and I guess if they can't agree, there wouldn't be a communication, but ideally they would come to a consensus as to what to say.
I think we would,
Or
I'm
putting a question out there. I'm
I
asking a
guess
question.
I kind of think that if we're in crisis mode, signing the dealer, you have to be able to communicate, you can't be stumped. Right, you can't not, like, if there's a debate as to what the messaging is and what the facts are, A, I think we're in trouble, B, I think that would be a miss. So to me, it's stay in the room until there's white smoke or whatever, right? Until there's
Oh, I
agreement
see.
in choosing a vote, that is. But, I mean, we don't have to land on it right now.
No.
We should probably have it fairly well baked by Friday. So when this hits the packet, everyone can kind of hear, see, feel, touch.
Yeah, and I guess maybe presenting it as something that would be sort of the arbiter of truth or the, source of truth is a little bit of a, that might be
Right.
perhaps overstating the potential of the mission there. But I do think it's, and it's a theme that comes in a bunch of these, but it's some sort of just cross-governmental body that defaults to response. And I think we probably have some of these for like crises, other types of crises, if there's a major, storm
Yes,
or whatever.
it's just not usually an information crisis,
Right.
and that's what we're talking about.
Right,
is
and
it-
so making it for that type of situation as well. And maybe not just crisis moments, but these sort of questions that face multiple pieces of the city. I think, in an ongoing way. I mean, I would kind of want to separate it from number 4 because I think number 4 is somewhat important for our moment, and this is really about
Number 4, I think, is particular to the budget,
going
right?
forward, right? It should be.
It felt similar in the
Yes.
sort of composition and
Yes.
maybe the flow, and it almost felt like if we establish this thing, or if we get everybody, all the parties that be the appointing authorities to agree to form something like this, their first task could be, hey, take a look at the budget.
Yeah.
See if you can provide some information about the budget.
Maybe.
We'll give you a grade on that, we'll see if you get to continue to, first prices, but.
There might be some,
And if you pass that test,
Exactly.
the
You get more
stakes
work.
increase, right, yeah, lucky you.
I don't know, it was just,
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea.
I think it's really, I think, we did see that just finding some ways to figure out how to communicate, I mean, we have something that's named communication here, but that's about us sort of, but finding ways for the city government as a whole, among its various pieces to just kind of figure out a shared set of communication things is pretty important, so.
I think anybody on that group should be empowered to call a meeting.
All right, now I'm curious. Empowered to call a meeting.
To say this is a crisis
If they
moment,
think
you're
there's some,
convening the.
an issue that they feel is worthy of the group talking about it and communicating about it. I hope
Actually,
it
I
wouldn't
think
be
you're-
abused.
I was gonna ask a question that might be similar, which was gonna be, who decides when it's a crisis? You're proposing that it would be
Right.
this group.
Right.
They would say, yep, this is a problem, we should start
get to
getting
work.
some fact finding done.
I mean, anybody can communicate with them to say, would you consider meeting to discuss this
Understood,
issue?
yeah.
But ultimately, it would be the group that would, decide to
Engage
do
or
that.
not.
Maybe it would take a majority, but all I would say is that, the question is, would there be like a chair of the group? And that normally chairs call meetings. But I think in this case, it shouldn't be one person that makes that call. It should be sort of the group as a group that decides, and not one person.
And then, so I'm agreeing with you, and my brain's also going to the place of, and I apologize, because my brain wanders. I see some places where this is significantly different from, but it also has some similarity in output to what a Fig City News or Newton Beacon might do. Ideally.
YouTube kids.
Are those your boys in the
They're in the hallway, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know that we need to figure out the rules of the group, because I don't have buy-in.
I think that should be
on that.
fleshed out more,
But I think the recommendation would be who the members of this group are and whether we think it's a good idea, basically. I think, and then I
And
think,
very glowing.
and a very
And we
cool
need a
report.
yes.
you don't think there should be a community representative there to sort of?
I mean, one of,
As somebody who's very good at process and arbitrating differences of opinion to drive consensus, I think, anyway, that's, again, just an idea.
community representation is great. It may be particular to the crisis,
Could be,
I don't know.
could be.
I like I when you first described it, I kind of assumed they were residents, the public, not, like, it would be like the city council, school committee, mayor's office, right? We all have two appointees to this group, and they're members of the public, not unlike, the Blue Ribbon Commission.
Oh, not taking their hat off as,
No, not actually members of the city council, but two
Correct.
people selected by the city council.
I understand.
So it could be, your next door neighbor and, somebody, that, to your point, is bringing not only an interest, but a certain amount of expertise relevant to what this group would do. I don't know if I'm totally changing
You're
the
changing it.
scope.
You're changing it from what was in my mind. I don't know that I like it as much,
Fair enough.
but I do want community representation. I
Yeah.
kind of fall back on
All right.
Councilor Lopovitz's idea of ensuring that there's community representatives on it. I don't know that they're standing members or ad hoc members based on the thing that's going on. It's a situation with the schools, maybe you want some parents. If it's a situation with the fire department, maybe you want,
Right.
family members of the fire or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I think there should be community representation on it, certainly as a check mark within that body.
I like it. So it'd be a combination of community representatives and perhaps somebody from the mayor's office, if not the mayor, one or two from school committee, one or two from city council, whatever the composition would be.
One
Okay.
administration. I'd love to develop a new district court, but I don't know know, we can maybe participate in something like that. We have a judiciary too, and folks know that that's
Yes.
a branch of government.
Yeah. All right, well, we should get that written up best we can over the next 48 hours and dropped in here.
Okay, so it's something that people are interested.
Yeah, I think it's a really, it's a really
Okay.
provocative idea, if nothing else. We'll have to bake it, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I think at some point, 6 months from now, however, we're gonna evaluate this, so,
Right.
you know, if they're not working out or that whatever, there's a problem, we'll make an adjustment, but I think it's worth trying. I'm
Okay,
sorry I was late, but I was looking at the colored,
the full list, sorry. This group?
The recommendations. Oh, and maybe I misunderstood it, but in the middle column, there's 2 yellows there,
Yep.
and I thought they were the same, more or less. Or am I wrong, or are they different?
Work closer together, understand challenges, working with us, try. We need to understand what we're facing. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I may have, I think I wrote this top one, like this box here. And I ratted out the Programs and Services Committee.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I figured I would just take liberties because, we're on.
No, I saw that.
Okay.
I took note of
it. Duly noted.
And on the next tab, we're called out, we're gonna need Programs and Services Committee to do this.
Dun, 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 dun.
So sorry, are we adding?
Well, Ellen brought up these 2 items here.
The yellow color.
The top 2 that are kind of this pale yellow color.
Yeah.
Are really, they overlap. They're the same. I think the top one is actually a slightly broader write-up of the 3rd item down on that list.
So, yeah, I mean, I think all these are incorporated in some way into these, like the
Is
ones
that
that
how you
we
did it?
voted.
Like
At
these,
least
so you need
the
these
people
guys
who
too?
voted, and
Right, yeah.
therefore have a
Right.
say, voted on, are incorporated into these things. So I think number 3, collaboration, is an attempt to combine those 2
Okay,
pieces, as well as, number 2, public engagement, including the school committee in that community outreach.
okay.
If it doesn't adequately do that, then we should revisit, but
Does that make sense to you, Alan?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that the one that I've got highlighted here, do you think that kind of captures both?
See, I can't see it.
Oh.
so it says working, the city council and school committee need to work more closely together to understand the challenges and opportunities facing both groups and help share information on what's going on in the schools. Working together, create a cadence agenda for combined meetings on a regular basis. And I think, these are topics that are up for the discussion in the meeting
Sure.
with the council. How frequently do we need to do this? I mean, quarterly becomes pretty frequent, but, and then this is the thing that we assign to you all.
Yeah, and on that note, like,
Yes.
I don't expect us to have it fully 110% baked before we walk into that room on the 27th.
I think it's important for us to
Clear.
pull out these, this is our proposal. If everybody generally is in line with it, then how exactly should it take
Ready
shape?
to go, and we'll
Right.
keep going on the details. Right there. Yeah.
As
okay.
opposed to having some sort of separate, I mean, because I do think, the thing in there was creating a separate group was, and I think, Alan, you and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think we do have to be careful, especially when we present to the whole council, like, I think at first blush, if you read through these, it feels like it could be a substantial amount of additional work to everything we are all doing already,
Yeah.
serving on multiple committees, doing our constitution, all of the things that fill our time. I think that these things are, in fact, somewhat constrained, I mean, I think that there's, in terms of the amount of time, especially if we take efforts to make it so like the office hours style thing, that could take any shape, but each counselor might only be involved in one, so it's one additional meeting.
Yeah.
If we're able to work with, say, the clerk's office and find some ways to do some of the communication stuff.
Yeah, there's some admin in there.
Yes,
I'd like to have some
exactly, yep.
feedback on, just a bit.
Or advocate for some, additional
Yeah, if that-
resources there.
If that part-timer could come full-time,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Well, we're justifying that role ahead of time?
I would love that, that's what I would love.
Which role are we talking about?
Well, there's, I think, Carol's point was, well, why would you're here, why would you-
Well, the admin of all meetings,
Oh, I see.
all the process that happens,
Okay.
there will have to be, and a delineation of jobs between the school committee and us, because we don't, that's Lisa Mazzola and them, so that would be that's just things to work out.
Okay,
But that's just, I'm gonna put that little note in there about the admin of it all.
okay.
I love, like, the website, yes, on board with all of that, those are one-time little projects.
Mhm.
Like definitions.
Right, until we have to promote or update
Right,
the content.
But anything that's ongoing, that's it, I'm done.
Okay.
Yep,
No,
it's good, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about, is making sure that these things all actually
That,
Code
I
is-
always say that about
the web-
elections, you wanna do something, but you've gotta have enough capacity to do it
Yes.
right.
Yes.
What did we say about the website, other than it should be?
This guy, it's right here, I'll bump it up in size, so that would be.
I agree with that 100%.
I think we heard a lot of comments like, hey, where's, I need to see blank. Well, it's on the site. It's there, it's just really hard to find.
It's hard, and we are constrained by the Granicus website program.
Mhm.
So that is,
Yes, but what's interesting is the more I talk to certain individuals at IT, we just have to take advantage of the different formats and the templates and the things that we can do.
that would be great.
So, whether or not,
Well, we would need IT's help for that, yeah.
of course. That's what I mean, or who I mean by newtonmass.gov. Yes. We may as well write Joe Mulvey. But,
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing then is level of comfort is rock solid on themes. We're 95% of the way there on recommendations, at least the ones we want to present on, what is that, next Wednesday, I guess it is?
27?
27, yeah, 7 o'clock.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah,
A week from today,
1 week from today, that's correct.
So like 7 days.
and that one's in person.
I prefer to say 1 week from today.
Okay, you guys lost me. Which is it?
And then just to be kind of, I think I've said this multiple times, but I want to make sure, like, we're still going to take all of this information, right, that's here, even if it's kind of not our primary set of recommendations. And we're going to include it in this file and/or the little presentation slide deck thing that I've been kind of,
I apologize, I did not have a chance to look at the presentation
it's
slide
not
deck
very
thing.
good yet, so it's okay.
I mean, I like the way you moved the little, did you move around the little bottoms of the thought bubbles to make them look less regulated?
I did.
That was, I noticed that, I noticed that.
Yeah. It was a heck of a contribution to the quality of
I mean, it
that.
actually did.
But yeah, so we're not losing these by any means, they're still gonna be out there, they will be shared out. They're just not our collective primary, hey, these are the 5 things we should get on.
We talked about sort of in appendix to the report and recommendations to the council,
Yes.
and we can include like all of them, the universe of what it was that we boiled down to,
Yes.
the recommendations as an appendix.
Right,
Yeah.
and I can, like in a minute, like I could really quickly like step through those slides, so we can just talk to it for a minute too. Given that-
Sorry, and I had just had to step out for a second, but are we adding number 6? This
Yes, we're
cool
gonna,
named group?
I'll
or-
kind of, yeah, well, we need a cool name for that.
Mm.
And, we'll have to define it enough to have a structured, directed conversation next Wednesday, a week from, or 7 days from now. But yes, we're gonna include that even if it needs a little
I
more.
missed that. Did you draft a preface or an introduction to the?
No, it was a great idea. All you, baby, all you.
Okay, I can give it a try.
But I think that really the preface, if you will, or the backdrop, you know, we could easily use that for the memo that introduces the stuff in the packet. It's kind of in my head what we would do with that, if not reprise it for the
I'll
council.
be able to do that on Friday, but.
Yeah, couple of paragraphs. I would just need it by like 10-ish.
Finish.
So morning on Friday, because all this goes in the packet on Friday.
I mean, I think
But I'll do it, I'll figure it out.
you already have a lot of the text in the
Yeah.
slideshow.
I do. Well, here, why don't we jump
I'll
over there?
put something.
Stop that. And I think I
Friday
can
in 2
bounce
days.
over.
In case these guys didn't fully break it down to you when they did for me. Wednesday, but. I have that one.
I feel like we should just come up with like a color theme I'll wear that evening, just roll in
What are we doing?
next week.
Done King's outfit.
Exactly like that, yes. Exactly like that.
How do I do that gracefully? What's the easiest way to do this? Oh, and by the way, I started tinkering with the full responses, and I kind of did the, I think you and I talked about, like, I counted up how many are, you know, from teachers, from parents,
Oh, wow, great.
residents, some, and then the combinations thereof. Interestingly enough, only 4 students replied. I thought we'd have more student input than.
Never get students to do their homework.
Excellent point. Right. I mean, sorry, I'm gonna try and pull up this slideshow here. I think it's right here. Come on. Come on.
You just intro music.
Want to do some walk-up music? That'd be pretty fun. Yeah, the other question, I have no intention of being the only one up at the podium, so maybe we can all enjoy that.
If you send me the
Luxury.
PowerPoint too, I'll have it. I can move the slides if you want.
Cool, that'd be great, because what I'm gonna do is we'll have a couple of links within this PowerPoint that'll go to the spreadsheet I was just showing.
Sure,
So-
just let me know.
Okay.
I'm confident in you to make the presentation. We don't all need to have a part in it. No, I mean, like, it's just distracting, like,
Yeah,
read the
well,
second page, you read the third page. But we can all be there to answer questions.
Yeah, I mean,
then, you
it's
know.
more or less for the answering of the
Yeah.
questions and
Yeah.
the discussion. So yeah,
Council Lovett may need to present, I don't.
Let's see where. My brain is obviously back there. This.
It's happening, you're doing it.
I am getting there. Deal. Why wouldn't it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So what I have, again, this isn't terribly pretty. I'm going to include the logo because I didn't have a chance to do that, like a little bug. Background.
Someone's calling it back.
Right. Themes, recommendations, I'll modify next steps, and then in the appendix I've got links, but I've condensed the original versions of the original content from the first deck we did.
Yep.
I did play with this a little bit. I'll explain it better
Can
than
you go back
maybe you
one?
could go
Can you
here.
go back one?
We talked about the themes, a little bit about methodology. I think I'm gonna put just in I could put it here, but I was thinking in the appendix, I'll add in the information about how many of the responses came from teachers, parents, residents, you know, that sort of thing, just so that it's in there. The researcher in me feels that that's minimally important. I talked to the themes. Here, I'll be able to click from this slide into the detailed version of the themes, just so that they're all connected. Same with recommendations. Next slide, I start to talk about, you know, hey, we have a bunch of recommendations. We're bringing ahead just a few of them. Here's what they look like, right? These are the ones we're bringing forward. This is this is my massive contribution the other day. You can take these little guys and drag them around. It's really exciting. See how much better that is? Just that tiny little.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think you can also.
They don't call you the difference maker for nothing.
Right?
Okay.
Let's see, and then next steps, and then the appendix. All of these will be linked so that people can get to the full, they can see the survey, all of the responses, and then the worksheet we were just in, and then we're done. You know, there'll be other, like I've left this in here as a reference for how I kind of designed this crazy mess. And we'll go there, we'll go from there. And that's it. That's all I wanted to cover tonight.
Works for me.
So do we have a date for the final report after that meeting for the city council? Because we might modify it based on some questions or.
My guess is we would republish anything in the Friday packet so that it would be final.
The final, okay.
But yeah, that's my guess. I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that also, by the way, we should make a plug, perhaps.
I'm sorry, on the 27th, that's a meeting of the committee of the whole.
Yes, it is.
And so after that, it would be a committee of the whole report to the city council about what the committee
Yeah,
wants to
we'd be
do.
reporting it out, right?
I don't know that we would be. Whoever's acting as chair of the committee of the whole that night would be
Fair.
reporting out to the full city council, I think.
No, I think you're right, right? I mean, that's gotta be.
Like, we received our report from the community dialogue working group. Here's what the committee of the whole said they wanted to do.
Right. Right, yeah, no, good point. So 2 weeks after, we'll wait. It could be as early as,
at the next.
It would be,
Monday.
it would be April 1st would be the next
right?
council
Okay.
meeting.
Well,
How many
unless somebody
days
comes
is
in and
that?
blows it up.
Right.
We can make modifications. Oh, but you have 48 hours before that. Right?
Well,
So
now
it would be in the
it's-
Friday packet for the
That Friday,
next,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so
So it'd be
we have a day.
36 hours
So
later,
would that be you would report it out on April 1st then?
theoretically, or Mark, I don't know,
Or Mark Quigley?
whomever.
The committee of the whole will presumably do something on Wednesday night. What do we want to do, which of these do we want to follow up on or whatever. That committee of the whole report becomes part of the city council meeting on April 1st,
Correct,
Yes.
which will be a big joke, because it's April 1st.
correct. I wasn't gonna say a word, but I'm glad you went there, yeah. Maybe we
I actually
hold
won't be
it.
there, I won't be there on the 1st, I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone. I will be in New Orleans.
All right, are we good?
I think we're good.
So
We're not
maybe
there.
this is more logistical than, subject matter, but in that meeing,
Which one?
the one that's 1 week from
Committee of the
today,
whole, okay, 7 days.
starting
probably,
in
yeah.
7 days and 15 minutes, do we, how does this work a little bit? Like, we present our thing and then we just say thoughts, reactions, or?
Yes, go ahead, you have more experience with it than I.
I think the full city council acting as a committee of the whole will debate it and discuss it, and perhaps someone could make a motion on what they want to sort of accept and move forward with as recommendations of the council. I think it would probably be incumbent for some of these to docket new items to implement them. But it would also be a communication from the city council to these other bodies about city council is recommending X, Y, and Z. They're interested, let's all get together and do it.
And then finally, probably a no action necessary to close it out, because you're not,
We
there's
don't
no motion
hold
to
it.
approve or do you wanna hold it for the year?
This one could, but
I forget what the
If
wording
you
of
hold it,
the
then you
item
can't,
is.
then you can't report it out then if you hold
The docket item?
it.
no, Can't report it out?
You don't report out until it's done, because then you're voting on it, right? There's nothing to vote on if the vote is to hold it.
Yeah, I think it's probably easiest to docket a new item for our like check-ins.
So just do a new,
Right.
no action
Like
necessary
the
at the end.
quarterly or whatever we decide.
Yes.
Because there really is no action necessary for the full city council, because they're making decisions.
Well,
We
if
can
the city, if
straw
the
poll.
committee of the whole wants to approve these recommendations, I think it's approval of the item, but the item doesn't carry with it.
That's true, so it would have to be, okay, thank you, that helps me.
So we
I think-
Wrap my head
we'll be
around.
voting it out.
So that would vote it out then.
I mean, the working group isn't really a committee and it doesn't have a docket item that's
Right.
specifically saying do this. The
Sure.
president established a working group and asked us to do something. We're coming to present to the committee of the whole.
Mhm.
The committee of the whole is gonna report to the full city council what that community dialogue working group did.
Yeah.
As part of that, there's gonna be probably a recommendation to do some things.
Yeah.
Which will then have to be docketed.
Right, like,
Because
even if
there
we
is a
did like-
docket item now for the committee of the whole.
There's a docket item for us to report.
Right, so that would have to
And
be
discuss.
either closed or held, whatever, just at the end of the committee of the whole meeting.
Sounds to me like we would close it and then come
Feels
back
like
with,
approval,
you know,
but maybe
Right, you're right, I
maybe
guess it would be
President Moreno
approved.
can discuss it, but.
Yeah, approve the recommendations that we vote on.
Yeah.
That would be
We did our job
That would be
well.
cleaner,
Our
yeah.
actions got approved.
right, you want gold stars.
That's right.
You don't get the gold stars if the item's open.
That's right.
And so then we would just figure out how to docket the particular items that are necessary
I think so.
out of it,
Yeah.
okay.
The ones that require docket items.
Yeah.
Right, so
Some of these might not,
adding a page to the website, yeah,
Right.
I don't think we need,
We do not need a
Docket
docket
item
item
for
for that.
you know,
to me, this is a little uncharted in terms of what needs a docket item, what doesn't, but I think that's imminently decidable.
Yeah.
Determinable.
Well, an
We can
example would be that the group that you just recommended, right?
Right.
To really hash out exactly who would be there, how they would be chosen, you know, sort of their mission statement, other rules that would apply to them.
All right,
Yeah, the joint programs and services school committee would probably work with, you know, chair of the school committee to say, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna docket something, have
How
a
does this
discussion.
go? Right, and then they probably have work to do on their end to make it real as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right,
Alright, so we'll look for the draft of this last item number 6, ombudsman type group with a cool name, whatever. Item,
Is that on me? Am I supposed to draft that?
I can take the first pass at it. I'll probably do it during your programs and services.
Fine by me. Fine by me.
All right,
okay.
all right. Was there anybody out there in Playland that we should, nope, okay, fine, good.
Kelly?
All right, I think,
No, she left.
okay, all right. Hopefully
grateful.
ecstatic. Had her popcorn, right, said, hey, woo, this is
Nailed it.
fantastic.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you all. I believe that we are
Adjourned.
adjourned. See you in 2:11 in